What's up guys, Tim here from Everyday Tactical Vids, and we're looking at a new knife today. This is from a company called JaktKit, so JaktKit, and this is the Knv3 knife. I was contacted by this company. They're based over in Europe. I'll put all the information down below if you want to check out links to their website and other information about what they sell. But they contacted me and said, hey, would you be interested in reviewing this knife? Really cool, compact little outdoor survival camping knife. Nice sheath system that comes with it. So we'll be talking about that today. I'll be showing you what it looks like in use. Once again, Jakt, JaktKit, JaktKit is the name of the company, and this is the Knv3. Let's check it out. Let's talk through some of the specs on the Knv3. Your blade length is 3.3 inches. Your total length is 8 inches. Your blade thickness is 0.18 inches. It is 9CR18 MOV steel. The Rockwell hardness rating is 59. The handle they call olive green, and it is TPEO, and they say that's age and chemical resistant. It does have a Kydex sheath, and the warranty is for 10 years. The US price is going to be around $90. Here's a look at the sheath. It is Kydex, and then you have the nylon up there. A couple things I like about it. First, because you have these screws that go through, you can flip this around for right or left-handed carry very easily. That's a bonus. You got a bunch of additional holes here, so you can run paracord through there. You got slots here, so you can run all kinds of attachment options when it comes to how you can set the sheath up. The other thing that's nice is when you look at the nylon here, so you could attach the hook and loop way up here. So if you want your belt to run up here, this will basically let it run down lower on your belt. So say you have some sort of rig set up, or maybe you have a backpack on, and the loop that goes around your waist, you want the entire knife to be resting down lower so that you've got room for that loop on your, or that belt on your backpack. You can do that with this setup. So lots of different options when it comes to how the sheath system works. Here's what the knife looks like in the sheath, and you can see my jacket does fall over actually most of the knife and the sheath, so just that little bit is exposed. When I do lift this up, you can actually see how it rests, and as normal with most of my knives, it's going to move back and forth between, you know, this loop and the loop in the back. You can again adjust this up and down however you want to, and then when it comes to taking the knife out, just rest your thumb there and draw the knife out. Let's show you what the knife looks like in use. The first test we'll do is on the spine here, and just see if we can scrape a little bit of this, the inside shavings of this bark off, so if you want to make a little something fine for getting a fire started. And as you can see, that works quite nicely for that. And here's a close-up of what we just did with the spine of the knife. This is a cedar tree, and so now that we have that light fluffy external bark off, let's actually show you that it can still work even on this harder, really this is the woody part, not in the heart of the wood, but it's definitely much woodier than this external section of the branch. So we'll show you, even with that, you can still get some fine shavings just using the spine of the knife. And so here you can see some shavings even from using the spine on the inner portion of the wood that is much harder than that external kind of flaky bark. We're going to move on now to a little bit more aggressive use and actually cut into this wood a bit. Here's what that looks like, and certainly we're able to cut that quite effectively, starting to feather that stick out a little bit. When it comes to an outdoor knife, a camping knife, a survival knife, a lot of people want to know about batoning. This knife in general is just too small, I think, for regularly being used as a knife for batoning. It just doesn't have the size I would want for it. And just think about the size of the blade, and if you have a piece of wood this wide, then you're only going to have the tip of the blade to hit or way back on the handle. But I will show you, just to show you that it does have the durability to baton some smaller pieces of wood. I'll show you what it looks like in action doing that. There you have it, a small pile of wood, but that was batoned through with the Knv3. Let's wrap up now talking about the Knv3. Let me tell you a couple things I like about it. I like actually the size of it. So this isn't going to be a full-size, like all-on wilderness survival blade. Camping knife, hunting knife, a knife when you're just kind of out in the woods and you want to have a solid blade that's not huge, this is a good option. For me, if I'm carrying this knife, I've probably got a folding saw or maybe a small hatchet as well. This isn't going to be a one-size-fits-all type of knife to do everything you need in the woods, you know, from camping all the way to the other end of wilderness survival. It's just not built for that. But the fit, the function, overall, I like what they've done with it. So this would go into my backpack, or this would go with me on a camping trip quite easily. I do like it for that type of situation. Here's some other thoughts. For me, I'd like to see the finger groove here, just the guard a little bit bigger. It doesn't have to be huge, but just a little bit bigger. That would give me a little bit more comfort as far as using it, but still quite comfortable. I do like the spine. I don't want to say it's 90 degrees because it's not steep enough that it actually hurts, and usually 90 degree angles on that spine kind of annoy my thumb when I'm using it for a while, but it is going to be steep enough to throw sparks up a ferro rod, so that's definitely going to be a plus. Full flat grind, I like that. As far as the steel, there's just a huge variety of preferences when it comes to the steel. I've used this for a while and I've been happy with it. It doesn't seem to be dulling up real quick or anything like that. And I do like your tip here. You know, sometimes if you get a knife that's got a huge belly, the tip just isn't as effective as maybe you want it to be for piercing and getting into things. I always think in light of, like, if you're doing a bow drill and you want to get the divot started for either your on your fireboard or on your handhold, sometimes that's hard to do if you don't have a nice fine tip like this. So this would certainly work in a situation like that. Lanyard hole, you got a little pommel exposed there, which is nice as well. And overall, I've been pretty impressed. So you're going to be talking about 90 bucks for this. And these guys are moving out into a variety of different markets. So they're spreading out in Europe, and they're starting to become pretty popular in the US. You're going to see more and more of these knives, I think, as you keep your eyes peeled. But this has been fun to use, and I do like the sheath system as well. The fact that you can click it into the Kydex sheath. You don't have to put the snap closed to make sure it doesn't fall out. It's very secure in the Kydex, and then the snap adds an extra degree of safety and security. The final thing I'll share with you is that when it comes to knives, I've got a lot of different outdoor knives, folding knives, etc. But when I'm looking for a knife that I can use with another tool, like I said, a small hatchet or maybe a folding saw, and I don't want a huge or a large survival knife, this is going to be the one I'm going to go to. I've liked it enough that it's going to be the one I'm going to commit to using, at least for a while, because it's been pretty impressive to me. Now, if I want something a little bit bigger, that's more of a Bushcraft knife, I'll probably go to my Spyderco or my Bushcrafter from Benchmade. But if I want something a little bit smaller, and I'm going to be using it in combination with some other options, I'm going to test this one out for a while because I'm impressed with it. I like the feel of it, and just overall it's functioned well. So I'll put a link down below if you want to get more information on how to purchase one of these. But overall, I'm giving it a thumbs up from Everyday Tactical Vids. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Everyday Tactical Vids here on YouTube. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, check us out on Instagram and Tumblr as well. More videos coming soon.